It is Wednesday, April 30th, and Trump holding his 100-day cabinet meeting this morning, making news on everything from China, Doge, and fireworks going off during his one-on-one interview with ABC. We're going to show you that. Also, California's Governor Gavin Newsom announcing Trump's Doge idea was copied from him. Yes, Gavin Newsom has the nerve to say Trump and Elon stole the idea of Doge from him, that California's got its own Doge, but better. You can't make this up. And more stories as well from around the country, including an update on Leticia James and her impending alleged mortgage fraud. But before we get started, thank you for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out the channel. And consider subscribing so you don't miss these regular updates. It has been 100 days since Trump re-entered the Oval Office. Today is day 100, holding a cabinet meeting at the White House this morning. In attendance, each of his cabinet heads, including Elon Musk and Vice President Vance.
Well, Mr. President, they say I wear a lot of hats. It's true. Even my hat has a hat. The American people voted for secure borders, safe cities, and sensible spending. And that's what they've gotten. A tremendous amount has been accomplished in the first 100 days. As everyone has said, it's more than has been accomplished in any administration before, ever, period. This portends very well for what will happen for the rest of the administration. I think this could be the greatest administration since the founding of the country.
Well, we all want to thank you for your help. You really have sacrificed a lot. Been treated very unfairly.
Well, they do like to burn my cars, which is not great.
Last night, Trump holding his 100-day celebratory rally in Warren, Michigan. Tens of thousands of Americans coming out to see the president speak. One of the points focused on heavily in that rally was tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts. We are eliminating taxes for you, for anyone earning less than 200 grand a year. That's the goal. That is the promise now. We are fighting for the middle class and the working class, drawing a sharp dividing line between Trump and Republicans' policy versus Democrats, who are running on raising taxes across the board. Trump hammering home the External Revenue Service, how it's now up and running, all the new revenues being generated, allowing him to deliver on his promise for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits, and of course, the big one, no tax for anyone earning less than 200 grand a year. Watch.
In the coming weeks and months, we will pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that will include no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill, and it will be the biggest bill ever passed in our country's history. It will include the biggest tax cuts, regulation cuts, military supremacy, and just about everything else. We will cut more than $1 trillion in wasteful and unnecessary spending. And in the next fiscal year, it'll all be done. We're going to have something that you won't even believe. We will end inflation, slash prices. We've already ended inflation, raise wages, and give you the greatest economy in the history of the world. That's already happening.
Meanwhile, prices for staples in this country falling. Egg prices down 50%. Energy prices down bigly. Today, again, oil plunging. On reports that the Saudis are bracing for an oil price war, releasing a statement that they can live with lower oil prices, which means gas already down 25% this year. Well, it's about to fall even further. All of this coming up during Trump's ABC interview last night. Trump accepting Terry Morin's request to interview him. An interview that didn't go so well for ABC. Fireworks erupting during it. Terry Morin of ABC trying to set the narrative from the get-go that Trump's causing higher prices, causing soaring inflation, causing Americans to worry about the economy. The entire interview, every question molded and crafted to set this negative narrative. Watch.
Were provocative, at times combative, and always he was strong in his convictions about his policies. But before we get to the interview, we begin tonight with a look inside the Oval Office that Donald Trump has transformed.
But I said, we have to fix this, otherwise it's just not self-sustaining.
But one of the things you ran on was you'd said you'd bring prices down on day one, and that it would happen fast, and that it would happen fast.
I have.
Most economists will tell you that tariffs will raise prices. So don't your tariffs cut against that promise you made to bring prices down?
No, because I had massive tariffs on China, if you remember, in my first term, and we had essentially no inflation, like around 1% inflation, which is like a perfect number.
You said something a couple of weeks ago that struck me. You said concerning the tariffs, which economists say are going to raise prices, you said, quote, hang tough. Yeah. It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should expect, some hard times?
I've said that during my campaign. Look, we won a campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. You know, we had a tremendous campaign. I said all of these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead. Look, since I came in, gasoline is down, groceries are down, egg prices are down. Many things are down, just about everything. You know, when you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
Not now, but it's the tariffs, right? We still have 145% tariffs on China. Your Treasury Secretary said we basically have an embargo on China.
Look, you're trying to say something's going to happen, Terry.
No, okay, well,
nothing's going to happen.
You know business.
Terry,
I want to ask you.
I do know business.
Yes,
and
so 145% tariffs on China, and that's good. Basically an embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on everything from electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion a year. They were ripping us off like nobody's ever ripped us off. And by the way, we have other countries that were just as bad.
And it just got worse from there. President Trump eventually just calling ABC News out to Terry Moran's face after being accused of hurting our country's reputation. Yes, Terry Moran asking the president, do you really think you've helped this country's reputation? Trump not having it, saying, no, Terry, I think our reputation's gone way up since I came back into the Oval. We were laughed at all over the world for having a president who couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't even walk across a stage without falling over. Something you, Terry, and your network failed to cover for 4 years. This was great. Watch.
Do you think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency?
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across a stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Then the question's turning to Doge. Instead of crediting Trump, Elon, and Doge for uncovering the massive waste and fraud, crediting them just a little with saving our tax dollars, which they've done, hundreds of billions in tax dollars saved. He frames the questions as Doge going too fast, doing too much, and that experts think it's hurting our country, hurting our economy. Watch how well that went for him. Roll the tape.
Elon Musk and Doge. Everyone knows that there's wasteful government spending. It's really important. But the cuts have had some serious consequences. There have been cuts to foreign aid programs that save lives and keep people alive overseas. There's been research at the National Institutes of Health on cancer, on Alzheimer's, that has had to be stopped. And the question I think people have is, did Doge go too far, too fast, too reckless?
No, I think Doge has been, saved $150 billion. We saved, that's a lot of money. There's also a lot of things right now under investigation, which is going to increase that amount by a lot. That's a tremendous amount of money. There were some things where, when I heard about them, I put them back, as you know. There are things that I'm considering right now putting back, but overall we've saved
hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, the original promise was $2 trillion, went to $1 trillion, now it's $150 billion and heading
you don't know
south.
what it's going to be because we have things that are at a very high level that are being looked at right now. We also found tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse, as you know. We found a lot of fraud. There was a lot of fraud. Fraudulent things were taking place, and we ended that, and those people are going to be suffering because of it.
A legal note, fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the, are there criminal referrals?
How would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally are. There's been no investigation from the Justice Department.
How do you know that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
Now I'm asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There had
Now I'm
been.
asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the
Of course
working
there have been. Take a look at some of these things that took place. Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever.
And speaking of Doge, yesterday, in what can only be described as this comedic skit, California Governor Gavin Newsom announcing during his press conference that his state, the state of California, has its own Doge, that its Doge is better, and that Trump and Elon got the idea for the Department of Government Efficiency from him. You can't make this up, saying California is using AI to make government more efficient on everything from spotting fires to easing traffic congestion. And unlike Elon Musk's Doge, California works with its employees, not cutting them. Saying Elon and Trump get all the credit for Doge, but he opened his Doge back in 2019. It's called the Office of Digital Innovation, saying it runs much more efficient than Elon's. Watch this.
Doge, but better.
Governor Gavin Newsom says California's use of artificial intelligence is making government more efficient by helping stop fires faster, simplify your taxes, and ease your commute.
Gen AI has come to traffic management in this state in a way that doesn't exist in any other state in America.
Governor Newsom's 2019 budget first created the Office of Digital Innovation to improve government services.
We've been Doge, but better for literally 6 years.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Newsom admits Elon Musk showcasing a chainsaw in promoting his federal Department of Government Efficiency got a lot more attention.
Are there any lessons to be learned from Elon Musk's theatrics? I mean, in terms of communicating?
The most difficult thing is when you're tearing something down, it's easy to get attention. Building things is hard. Starting from scratch, improving things, reforming things. That's what we're promoting.
On this day, Newsom is at Accenture in downtown LA to announce new AI partnerships. He says he's working with unions and state workers on his overall AI efforts. Unlike Musk, whose work has led to lawsuits for many workers.
We've been doing it with people, not to people. It's a point of pride, always has been for me.
Newsom and Musk have a long and complicated relationship.
Is this the whole interview, by the way?
Here they are testing out an early Tesla together on Gavin Newsom's show on Current TV back in 2012.
You and Elon Musk used to get along pretty well back in the day. How are you getting along now? Have you talked about any of these concepts with him recently?
This is why I need my chainsaw. No, I haven't talked to him lately. Unsurprising, but a lot of folks that knew him for decades haven't talked to him lately.
On President Trump's 100th day in office, the governor is giving Trump credit for his response to California's wildfires.
At the moment, I'm extraordinarily satisfied by that partnership. There's been no politics to date in this space.
At the same time, Newsom announces the state's 16th lawsuit against the Trump administration for trying to cut $400 million from the AmeriCorps service program, something Newsom blames Musk for.
If that's his legacy, it's tarnishing the legacy that he should otherwise be proud of, creating one of the world's great automobile companies and rocket companies.
Elon Musk and President Trump have long criticized Governor Newsom and California Democrats for the state's high cost of living and spending overruns on issues like homelessness and high-speed rail.
That's why your state had a $50 billion annual deficit last year, why your state's the highest tax state in the country, and you still can't manage to pay the bills. Yeah, I'd say it's not running all that efficiently, Gavin. In another story, the most corrupt attorney general in the country, New York AG Leticia James, the same lady who campaigned on getting Donald Trump on working every day to fight Trump, go home, and then fight him some more. The same lady who told us for years that Trump was a cheat and a fraudster is now facing her own fraud allegations. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has referred criminal charges to the DOJ accusing Leticia James for mortgage fraud relating to her Virginia home loan. Yesterday, she was asked about this during an interview with MSNBC, saying she's 100% confident that this will not result in formal criminal charges. Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure about that, Leticia. Watch.
I will respond to these baseless allegations at the appropriate time and in the appropriate way, but I am 100% confident that it will not result in any criminal indictment or action against me, and that it is nothing more than a revenge tour, and that Donald Trump just ultimately got to the J's, and I was next.
The key allegation, again, it sounds like you don't want to address them here, but I'm just going to put it out so people understand that a property that was owned in Virginia, and a mortgage that you signed, if I'm not mistaken, for that property, that they say you falsely represented yourself as a resident of Virginia, and that was essentially amounts to mortgage fraud since you're a resident of New York. What is your response to that?
It's baseless. Everybody knows I'm a resident of New York, specifically Brooklyn. And again, we will respond at the appropriate time in the appropriate way to these baseless allegations. And some media outlets like the Daily News over the weekend has indicated as much.
That's all you want to say?
That's all that I'm going to say.
The FHFA director, William Palte, is alleging Ms. James has on multiple instances falsified bank documents and property records to acquire government-backed assistance and loans to get more favorable loan terms, changing bank documents, altering the documents, and giving them to the government. I mean, that's real fraud, if that's what she actually did. The irony around this is just too great. She charges Trump with these novel legal theories, charges that every legal scholar says are really bogus, that there's nothing there, while she's actually committing real mortgage fraud, allegedly.